Welcome back to the channel. Good morning. Now, over the last few videos, we've had some fun, haven't we, driving about and doing a bit of this and a bit of that all over the place. I hope you've enjoyed that. I really have. But none of that goes without a bit of general maintenance. So here we are, back in the man cave. If you remember from the previous video, when we did the walk round, it's in good condition, but it needs a little bit of work. So the first thing we've had to do is shoe on all the cars around so we can get this thing on the ramp, and it's massive. I've got about a foot to work around it, but we need to get it done because it's dripping oil. So let's have a look underneath and see where that oil's coming from. These engines are quite new to me, the V6 Cologne. I've not really done any work on them before, so if you in the comments, if you see anything that you think I've missed or that might be helpful, please feel free to drop it in the comments. So we've had a read up on what some of the common problem areas are for oil leaks and stuff like that, and sure enough, that's where they're coming from. Have a look under here. Back in our happy place with the microphone sticking out under the car, lay on the floor, and I tell you what, that's not half a bad backdrop there, is it? One of the first things we noticed when we got it home was oil around here, quite a lot. Now, the oil filter has got tape on it. I'm not sure why, but there's also evidence of a bit of a leak from the seal in the oil filter, so that's an easy fix. Obviously, it's left a little bit of residue here, which you could argue, we're going to say that's just built up from what's coming out of that oil filter, so that's easy. New oil filter, we're doing an oil and filter change anyway. On the other side of the engine then, further investigation, which I believe is a common spot, the oil pressure switch, you can see there, that's really leaking. That's quite bad. So we'll change the seal in that. And then also there was a bit of a build-up of oil here, which could arguably be the sump gasket, but what I'm hoping is that it's what's come out of here and run round to here to drip off. So we're not going to do the sump gasket just yet. We're going to change the oil filter seal, we're going to change the oil pressure seal, and then we'll run it up for a bit and see if that cures everything and if there's any evidence of the sump. And also here, if you look, there's quite a bad water leak from the thermostat housing. It looks to me like there's a gasket here and a gasket here. There's evidence of a repair here. Well, we're under a quick inspection of the brake. Discs don't look too clever, so we'll just order a set of discs and pads, belt and braces with those. The exhaust is blowing really badly, and you can see why here on both of there is some joins that are not great. So what I've done, I've ordered a flexi pipe. So we'll cut that back and put a proper flexi pipe in it. But if looking back at the system's not great. It's got new joiners, but a really old system. I can actually even see, if you look closely onto that one there, someone's paid £20 for those. That one's welded, that one's connected. It's all a bit mishmash. I would guess that it did have a really decent exhaust on it. That's worth a few quid, and someone's took it off. However, it does still have the manifolds, the branch manifold. So I'd have called that a 4-branch. But what would you call it on a V6? A 2-branch, a 4-branch, two branches? Let me know in the comments. Delving a bit deeper into the upper side of the engine, there's definitely evidence of something around that gasket there, the water pump gasket. Now, again, we're going to just do the thermostat gasket, clean it all up and monitor it, because this could be from a previous repair. The belts, I mean, they're not bad, but belt and braces, hey, we're going to put 2 belts on it because they're just a little bit frayed. Fuel filter there, we're going to change that. Now, your best friend on any old Ford restoration is this, the Haynes manual. You can shop about online, asking your mates, asking people on Google, asking ChatGPT and all of that, what the torque settings are, what things should be, and what, everything is in here, absolutely everything. The gaps for the tappets, the lot. Just get one of these. They used to be about a tenner from the shop, and then no one wanted them, so they were about 99p. I remember I've got one that was 99p from a sale, and now they're about 35 quid because you can't get them anymore, and they're invaluable, gold dust. Going back to the Haynes manual, because it's designed for DIY at homers, I thought, oh, I'll just have a quick read about, because the water is a bit manky, and I can't decide if it's oil or if it's just sludge. So when I drain the water, I'm going to keep a sample of it and have a look at that. And I thought, I'll just read up how to flush the system. And it says, take the bottom hose off, drain it out, and then put your garden hose in the header tank and run it through till it runs clear. It's brilliant, isn't it? That's the instructions in the manufacturer's instructions for flushing a coolant system is put your garden hose in the header tank. So we've had a good look underneath now and a good look on top at the water system. The thermostat housing leak looks like it goes a little bit further. Have a look at this. To me, it looks like it's leaking from the back here, which is the same gasket as the water pump, unfortunately. I thought it was just a thermostat housing gasket, but it's got a thermostat housing gasket, then the water pump housing gasket, and then it looks to me like there's another gasket at the back. I don't know what that's all about. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pop the hose off the bottom of the thermostat housing, and I'll drain the system from there. And it looks like we're going to have to take this water pump off and replace the gasket. Take this cowling off, it's just two 10 milli bolts. We'll whip that off so it's out of the way. We'll drain the system, and then we've just got to undo these bolts on the pulley and have a nightmare with that, really. Let's get stuck in. Looking up there at the water leak now, there's a thermostat housing. You can see there's a leak from this seal here at the back. We've got a leak on the top on this seal here, which is the water pump seal, and then this seal is the actual housing for the thermostat seal. So there's three gaskets in that point. Oh, it's just mad. I wonder what this gasket's called then. Drop a comment if you know. Remember the instructions from the Haynes manual. One garden hose. Why not? We'll keep pushing that through now until it runs clear. Look at that. Oh, it's disgusting. I'll get it clear, don't you worry. Running clear now, look at that. Haynes was right. The Haynes manual was right. Such a simple and effective thing to do. Crystal now. We have got the thermostat housing out now. There it is. There's your thermostat. There's your gasket. That's the problem. There's a seal here. For some reason, I'm not quite sure if that should be there. It looks to me like that seal's in the wrong place, if I'm honest. And then, because maybe not. We'll have a look. And what else have we got? Then that sandwiches in to this little fidget spinner or whatever it is. So that gasket's kaput. So we need to find one of those. This is where it's all been taken from. The housing at the front and the fidget spinner at the back. Now, next up, we've got to get this fan off, which is a bolt here. And it's a 32mm spanner, a thin spanner, and I haven't got one. So I'm going to order one of those. And then it's just a case of undoing all these bolts and then get into this big giant gasket that goes all the way around here. I did actually order a thermostat previously, thinking ahead. So we've got a new thermostat, and that's the gasket that came with it. It's quite clearly the wrong gasket, because it won't fit on that, will it? So it makes me wonder if it's the right thermostat. I did do it. No, I didn't buy it off the reg. Yeah, okay. So I think we'll look into that, and I'll probably end up just trying to buy like a full water pump gasket set somewhere if I can, of a good quality. The last thing I have to do is do it twice. So while we're waiting for those parts, we're making a list. I need a battery as well, a square terminal battery, because it's got a round terminal battery on it, and that's freaking me out. So put that on the list, and we're gonna just we're gonna drain the oil and drain the take the oil pressure switch out, and we'll check all them parts, get the part numbers, and just do a big order. Hello and welcome to Science O'Clock with Dan Ferrari Ford. We like a bit of science, as you'll know from previous videos. Well, here's a bit more science for you. Water samples removed. This is the first bucket. Then we started to flush it. There's the second bucket. And there's the third bucket. Well, that's probably about the fifth bucket, that, to be honest. And then we did a few more just to be sure. But looking inside the first sample, it's the muck's starting to go to the bottom now. If it was oil, it would float on top of the water. There's no oil floating on top of that water. It's just dirt that's dropping down to the bottom. Because yeah, so that's telling me. Same with the second sample. You can see the dirt at the bottom. It's quite clear at the top, isn't it? Like, again, and then obviously the last one is clear. So that's, I'm going to say there's no oil in that water. It is literally just gunk and filth from lack of maintenance or age or whatever you want to call it. I'm good. It's probably more than likely because it's had no coolant in it. Looking at that, there's no coolant in that, and it was probably not deionized water either. But deionized water, I think you can use hard water on these. Anyway, I think that was the thing. But really, it should have some silicates in there just to protect the engine. Well, yeah, that's good news. We've got more oil science later in the video. Stay tuned. That's the oil filters off. For some reason, this has got tape round it. I'm not sure why. This is the new one that came off the reg, a Bosch P2003. It's a bit of a different shape, but the seal's the right size and the thread's the right size, so we'll give that a go. Drop a comment if you know which is the right filter. That's what it says underneath the tape. Genuine parts. 3223. Right, bit of research needs doing. I'm going to give someone I know in the club a call. So it seems we've got a small conundrum. Ooh, small conundrum. So there is a bit of a conundrum about the oil filters, which is the right one. One's got one number on, the new one has come with a different number on it. We did order it off the reg, but that's not always right. So we need to double check that. So if you're in a position like that where you need to check some things like that, you could just be doing with being part of a club, really, couldn't you? So why not join our sponsor, the XR Owners Club? Go onto the website, xrownersclub.co.uk, click join, pay £30 for your first year. After that, I think it reduces. Absolute bargain. It's a nationwide club, so it doesn't matter where you live, you'll be put in your local branch. You can stick with your local branch or you can do nationwide. It's entirely up to you. Fantastic club, highly recommended. Link in the description. Back in the garage after work because this has arrived. Nice shiny 32mm spanner. Let's give that thing some stick now. Onto the fan shroud. You have to take two of the bolts out of the pulley first, get your spanner on, and then it's actually a wrong way. It undoes the wrong way, so give it a bit of a jerk just to get it going, and then you can undo it. Easy peasy, lemony squeezy if you got the right tools in it. Viscous fan removed. There's the bolt. Nice and tidy. Good nick that. We'll give it a wash before we put it back, make it shine. Loosen the alternator, pulleys off, all the bolts out the water pump nice and gently. Remove the water pump. New water pump has been ordered. If you've never been lucky enough to take an alternator off, it's quite simple. There's always a bolt at the top that's fixed. There's a bolt at the bottom that's fixed, and then there's a bolt on an adjuster there. You undo the adjuster bolt at both ends so it's nice and loose. And then if you watch, the alternator will just pull up the adjuster like that. And then your belts pop off. Easy peasy. We've took all the bolts out of the water pump now painfully with a spanner, because what I've decided I'm doing on this car, I'm going to spanner everything because I don't want to strip anything, and it's an old car and it's just easier. Take your time, bit of backwards and forwards, working the bolts rather than breaking a bolt, because as you've seen in the Ferrari video, I broke a bolt there and it took me 2 weeks to fix it, so I'm not doing that again. All the bolts are out now. Have a look. Hopefully this should just, oh, there it goes. There you go. Nice, going all over the floor. 1 times water pump. Good morning, it's Saturday, it's Car Wife's birthday today, so we've got up early, sneaked in the garage, still in my PJs, just to have a quick half an hour before she gets up, because I think we're going to have to go and do some car wifey things today, like take us to the garden centre and, you know, nurse her and put petals on the floor and all that nice husbandy stuff. Bake her a cake, suppose. But for the next 30 minutes, it's water pumpville. All the parts have arrived. You've seen that, didn't you? This is the new water pump. Look at it. It's beautiful. This is the old one. Look, you see, you think things are okay until you look at a new one and you think, look how perfectly cut the edges are and how good a seal that gasket's going to get on that now. Same with the engine. When that was brand new, it'd got perfect seal in between, but now obviously it's a bit old, a bit pitted, a bit worn, so we've cleaned it all up. We've cleaned the thermostat housing up. Everything's cleaned up and ready just to sandwich back together. We've got new gaskets. Let's put this bad boy on the front of the engine. When we've took the bolts out gently, if you look, I don't know if you can see, there's pitting. We've cleaned them up, but there's a lot of pitting, a lot of corrosion from the water. So we went to see our little bolt man, and ta-da, brand new bolts. So we should be able, those bolts will get a nice tight, they wear here as well, so they'll get a nice tight, dink, no leaks, fingers crossed. Let's stick it on. Water pump's on, new bolts, look at that, perfect. So we've had a look in our Bible, our Haynes book, and that's telling me that the torque wrench settings are 9 to 13. This is the torque wrench, you set to number 9, and then when it's tight enough, it'll click. Generally with something like this, you'll start in the middle and work your way out because it's a flat plate. So if the different tightnesses, then it won't be held as flat perfectly. There'll be a little bit of difference. So you run round on the 9 and then you'll run round on the 13. But generally these torque settings are for new cars. So I'm going to down torque this. I'm only going to go to 12 because I think that'll be enough, because I don't want to over tighten anything. And as you can see, it's quite a big wrench that for such a little bolt. So it is potential for over tightening. I do watch videos where people don't bother doing this. That's fine. You don't have to do it. You can make a little stupid click sound if you want and pretend it's done. It's entirely up to you, but I prefer to go to the manufacturer's settings whenever I can, especially with an older car. I just know that when I've done this, it'll be right and it won't leak. So that's them all torqued up now to 12 Newton meters. So I know that that plate is pulling in at exactly the same pressure evenly across, giving that gasket the best chance. Job's a good one. Thermostat housings prepped, all cleaned up, ready to go on. Fidget spinners prepped, all cleaned up, ready to go on. We got the new gasket that came with the water pump, new seal that came with the water pump, that's great. But the fidget spinner seal we had to buy separately, but that came as part of a kit typically, so we had to buy that. Let's pop it on the car. Belts are on. Now, remember how we took it off? We pushed this, loosened these 3 bolts and pushed this forward. Well, it's basically the reverse. There's a little bar in there. Pry that, get your tension right, and then tighten those bolts up. Water system rebuilt, back together, ready for some coolant. Have a look. Thermostat's in, new gaskets are in, new belts are on, plastic cowling's back on. Before we can start it up, we've got to put some coolant in, obviously, but next one is this, the oil pressure switch. We've got a new one of those ready to go. There's the old one, looking a bit sad, a bit worse for wear. There's the new one. I'm going to put a bit of PTFE tape on it just to make sure it seals rightly or wrongly. And then we've also got a new sump plug and new gasket, belt and braces. Then we're going to clean all the bottom of the engine up, oil in, water in, run it up, cross fingers. Out with the old, in with the new. Mission. Saturday morning mission. Still car wife's birthday. I've nipped in, balloons sorted. She's happy. She don't want to go to the garden centre, so we can stay a bit longer. We've got everything on the car now. All the water systems built back up. The oil system's built back up. We've cleaned it all up. We've noted, spotted. Hello, Spotty. Where's Banana Man? We've spotted the, I've been upside down too long. The gearbox oil leak. We found that it's weeping out of where, what I think it's the clutch cable where it goes in. So there might be a little seal there. So we're going to look into that. I'm just tidying up. So before I get rid of the water samples, going back to the science, you can see now how much that's just like grit and stuff. The water's clear, there's no oil in it, so that is an absolute result. It's dropped to the bottom. Happy days. First job, cup of tea, and then we'll fill all the fluids, run her up, and fingers crossed we've cured those leaks. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Hey! Woo! So we've celebrated car wife's birthday and now it's time to get back onto the XR4I. We filled it up with oil, absolutely fine. There's no leaks. We haven't run it up yet. We filled it with water and sure enough, the water was dripping out the thermostat housing. Dripping out the front, it was dripping out the fidget spinner end. There was even a little bit of it coming out of the let me show you. We've put a little bit of gasket sealer in it, stripped it all down again and built it back up again, and fingers crossed I'm going to let that cure now for 24 hours and hopefully we've got it. So we cleaned the block quite good when we did it the first time. We cleaned it again and there is little bits of pit into it, so kind of need the sealant to fill the pits unless you want to skim the block, which we're obviously not going to do. Hopefully that gets it. If not, then God knows. Drop a comment if you know what the answer is. Well, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget, if you like what you see, please like, please subscribe. If you want to find out if this thing runs to temperature or not, tune into the next video. We'll get it on that. I've got another video coming up on the fuel system, the Sierra fuel system. It's quite important. Some of you might have seen some stuff on the news about a Cosworth going up in flames recently. So yeah, we're going to do some work on the fuel system just to double check. Thanks for watching. Adios.